Hello, my spookies. This is a special sneak preview of the Patreon exclusive series based in Strickfield called The April Fool by Rob Fields. If you love what you hear, head to weeklyspooky.com and subscribe to our Patreon for as little as $1 a month. You'll get 2 installments every single month and, of course, my undying gratitude. Also on the Patreon is the entire novella for The Weekend, another Strickfield exclusive to Patreon. So, head to weeklyspooky.com, click on Patreon, and join the other 105 spookies in supporting the show directly and getting bonus content every single month. But now, without further ado, it's time for the first part of 24 parts of The April Fool by Rob Fields. Enjoy, and remember, head to weeklyspooky.com, click on Patreon, and subscribe to get every additional piece of the horror puzzle. Chapter 1. 1 year ago. Perspective, Ashley Gable. April Fool's Day. Usually this day is set aside for jokes, pranks, and anything of the sort. A holiday of harmless fun, to be more exact. But for 6 consecutive April Fool's Days, this one included, it's been anything but harmless. I had no idea of how soon I would find out firsthand. I was in my bedroom getting ready to attend Tasha Jackson's annual April Fool's Day party. I was just putting the finishing touches on my makeup when I looked over at the clock above my dresser and saw it was almost 7:30. After I finished putting my makeup away, I grabbed my purse. From there, I turned out the light and left my room. Then I walked to my little sister's room down the hall and knocked on the door. "Callie?" I called out. "Come in," she called back. I opened the door and walked in to see she was looking at herself in her full-length mirror. All she had on was her underwear. "Really, Callie? You're still not dressed yet?" Seeing Callie's reflection, I could tell she looked annoyed. "Well, sister of mine, if I had a fashion sense like yours, I wouldn't always be in situations like this." I walked over and stood by her as she checked herself out in the mirror. Callie sighed. "Why does this always happen to me?" I raised my finger. "Callie, I have a simple suggestion. Why don't you just put on whatever works for you? Then you're all ready to go." Now she was giving me that annoyed look again. "Yeah, well, I don't always pick out the perfect outfits the way you do either," she muttered. I rolled my eyes and muttered back. "Oh, come on, Callie. You're not going to start on me about being perfect again, are you?" She sighed. "I'm only telling you the truth, sister of mine." I turned to look at her. "Callie, come on. I'm just a normal girl. I'm not better than you or anybody else." I decided to try and change the subject. "If you want, I could help you put something together." Callie finally turned and looked at me. Then she smiled and laughed a little. "Hey, I got it! Why don't I just go to Tasha's party wearing only my underwear? Come on, sister of mine. What do you think?" When Callie presented herself to me, I rolled my eyes. "Yeah, you'd definitely be the hit of the party for sure. I'm sure Sid and Doug wouldn't mind seeing you nearly naked. Craig, on the other hand, would probably go ballistic." Callie laughed again, harder this time. When she caught herself, she looked me in the face again. "No, he wouldn't. Craig loves me way too much to do that. Know how I know? Because he always tells me he would do absolutely anything for me." I gave her a skeptical look. "Anything? Yeah, right." Callie raised her finger. "Anything," she confirmed. I raised an eyebrow. "Is that why he's taking you to the party tonight?" She pointed right at me. "You know it, sister of mine." I sighed. "Well, how much longer are you going to be? I'm sure Craig's going to be here any minute." I took firm hold of her wrist and looked at her smartwatch. "In case you haven't been paying attention, it's going on 7:30. When I let go of her wrist, she turned and looked back into the mirror again. "Oh, I don't know. I just want to have the right look, that's all." She raised her finger. The right outfit is everything. Isn't that what Tasha always says? I folded my arms in front of me. Speaking of outfits, what about all those new clothes you practically begged Mom to buy you last weekend? You know, the ones you couldn't wait to show off to me? The ones you felt you had to give me a fashion show presentation for. Why don't you wear some of those? Callie didn't seem to hear me. She just kept studying herself in the mirror. Then she pushed up her breasts. Maybe I should lose the bra and just dress a little down tonight. I could tell Callie wasn't talking right to me. She sometimes talked to herself when she was trying to work something out. Callie? I called out. Huh? She quickly turned and faced me again. You know what, Ashley? I think I'm going to be here for a little bit yet. Like I said, I'm in the middle of a major crisis here. I just can't decide what I want to wear. If you want, you can just go on ahead and go to the party. Tell the others that Craig and I are going to be a little late. I immediately understood what Callie was getting at. She was wanting some alone time with Craig, and not the kind where she was going to ask him for his fashion opinion. I sighed. Okay, no problem. Well, it wouldn't have been the first time I had to tell the others that my little sister would be a little late. What should I tell them? That you and Craig? Callie groaned. Just tell everybody that Craig and I are going to be a little late. That's all you have to say. Okay, sure. I took hold of Callie's wrist and looked at her smartwatch again. Fine, I'm going to get going then. I guess I'll see you and Craig when you get to the party. Callie took her wrist back. Then she pointed at me. And don't tell them any more than they need to know, especially that goofy Laura. I won't, I assured her. As I was about to leave the room, Callie called out, Come on, sister of mine, close the door, will you? When I looked over my shoulder, I noticed Callie was unhooking her bra. Sorry! I finally left my baby sister's room, closing her door behind me. Then I went downstairs and opened the closet door to grab my jacket. You leaving, Ashley? Dad called out from the kitchen table. Yeah, Dad, I called back as I put my jacket on. Then I opened the front door. Well, don't come back too late, Mom called out, also in the kitchen. Do I ever? I didn't give them the chance to answer as I opened the screen door and quickly stepped out onto the front porch, pulling the inside door shut behind me. I looked out to the driveway and saw my best friend, Monica Graves, pulling in. I kind of told her ahead of time I would probably need a ride to the party in case Callie was having trouble picking out something to wear. Again. I could hear music pumping out of the speakers, and I could see smoke. I knew I should have expected as much from Monica. Well, it was time to face the music, no pun intended. I left the front porch and went to her car. When I got in, Monica definitely had a cigarette in her mouth and was looking my way. As I was putting my seatbelt on, I returned her look. Thanks for stopping over, Monica. I really appreciate it, I said over the music. Hey, no problem, Ash, she replied just as loud over Jasper the Colossal. What's up? She turned down the volume a little and raised her finger. No, let me guess. Callie ain't ready. She sucked on her cigarette and blew out a big cloud of smoke. She's having major wardrobe issues again, right? Is she ever? I confirmed, hoping I wouldn't have to fight the urge to cough. Monica cracked the window as we both laughed. Then she backed out of the driveway, shifted, and started driving us to Tasha's house. Monica picked up her cigarette pack off the dashboard and pulled a fresh one out. You know, Ash, I bet your sister's going for the world record of longest time it takes to get dressed. I smirked. Probably. Then she finished her current cigarette. And I suppose she said to tell us she's going to be late again, she guessed. Before she threw her cigarette butt out the window, she used it to light the fresh one. I raised my finger. Oh, I'll do you one better. I have to tell everybody that both Callie and Craig will be late. Craig's supposed to be taking her to the party. Monica laughed a little and rolled her eyes. Oh, now I've heard everything. She sucked on her fresh cigarette and blew out another cloud of smoke. Come on, Ash. You know just as well as me those two are going to get hot and nasty before they come to the party. I laughed myself. I'm surprised Mom and Dad never caught them as many times as they've exchanged bodily fluids in Callie's room while they're both downstairs. Monica gave me wide eyes. Are you serious? Come on, babe. You yourself have told me before you smelled sex on them, I pointed out. Monica turned off the radio. Hun, those two have come into school first thing in the morning smelling like sex. Believe me, I know what the smell of people screwing is like. And Craig and your sister have sure been going at it hot and heavy once they started seeing each other. She took another puff on her cigarette. I know I'm jealous. I know I'd love to have a regular guy to go to concerts with me and then take care of my needs in bed after. I gave her a confused look. You mean you're not sleeping with Sid? I know you go to concerts regularly with him. Monica laughed. You're right. Sid Vander and me are concert buddies. You'd think we were a couple with the music we listen to. Us listening to music and getting high together is about as far as we've gone, I'm afraid. We just ain't into each other when it comes to bedroom games. Believe me, I tried to get him to go to bed with me. Then he calls me Sarge because of my buzzed head and salutes me, which completely ruins the mood. We drove in silence for a few seconds. Then Monica glanced my way. What about you, Ash? Or do I even have to ask? I sighed. That obvious, huh? I haven't had a boyfriend since... Then a tear slid down my cheek. You okay? Monica asked. I just can't believe it's been 1 year already, I choked. I know, right? She replied. I've been on a few dates, but they were both a bust, I admitted. One of them you set me up with. Yeah, I tried. She took another puff on her cigarette. Then she playfully punched me on my shoulder. Hey, I'll gladly marry you if it turns out you and me are still single after high school's over. Hell, I'll even go to the junior and senior prom with you. I turned to Monica. I'm glad I can always talk to you about anything. Well, comes with the duties of my full-time job as your best friend, she cracked. Then she got serious. I love you, you know. I smiled. I know. I love you too. I just hope we can have some fun at Tasha's party tonight. We will, Monica assured me. It'll be a hoot once you tell everybody about Craig and Callie. As we parked outside Tasha's house, I wondered just how late Craig and Callie would be in getting to the party. And I would soon find out. To hear the rest of this terrifying tome, you'll have to join our Patreon. So head to weeklyspooky.com, click on Patreon, and subscribe for as little as $1 a month. You'll get 2 parts of this story every single month until its conclusion, and then there'll be yet another terrifying novella to titillate you. Until next time, I'm Enrique Couto, your host and narrator. Thanks for listening, and I hope to see you at our Patreon.